I'm going to second what Matt said. Like, that's, you go through this whole process. It's like I'm naturally inclined to defend the Jets. It's just, I'm just wound that way. But then you go, okay, like, so my first wave is like, blah, 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 blah. And then it's like, all right, well, what's real? And then you start entertaining some stuff. But like Matt just said, it's like, I would say, 80% of that article is like, yep, no shit. You know what I mean? Like, it turns out that Hackett's not a very good offensive coordinator without Aaron Rodgers. Oh, you don't say. Oh, what a revelation. And the whole thing, oh, they didn't have confidence in Zach Wilson. How many times did we say it on this very show? Like, when Saleh was saying Zach gives us the best chance to win, it didn't necessarily mean that Saleh was, some cheerleader rah rah for Zach Wilson. He's like, look around, everybody. We're standing in the desert. We got one bottle of water. I'm telling you, this is the one. This is what we got, And like, that's kind of how I read all that. So I mean, the only thing I had, like, issue with, if you will, and let's call it like questions, is the idea that, in the same article, it talks about Robert Saleh being, far too concerned with people liking him. And then it also talks about him like corralling the coaches and threatening to take their cell phones. And I mean, maybe, there's some variation. I think we might have mentioned it last week, like, where it's like, maybe he said, like, guys, let's not get into a situation where they have to take your phones or something. I mean, maybe something like that. But I highly doubt Robert Saleh, like, locked the doors, so to speak, and said, like, we're going to take your cell phones. I just don't see that. Now I could be wrong, of course, but I don't see it. So I think, but most of the article is not really all that big of a revelation. It's not big news. When you compress it all together and put it in one article, it seems really damning. And the whole thing about, a really great line, by the way, but I don't know how true it is. It's like, Aaron Rodgers isn't the assistant GM. Joe Douglas is the assistant GM.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really? Is that, I mean, I don't know if he's the GM, you think he's taking Will McDonald, it's like, it just doesn't make sense. It doesn't compute when you really look at it. If you're talking about guys like Alan Lazard and Cobby being here, and okay, totally, they asked him, or they had the conversation, and he expressed to the Jets, I would really feel comfortable if these guys were here to help kind of the install. It's a young team, and I feel comfortable with Lazard out there. I mean, I don't doubt that for 1 second. There was an article by Costello this week that talks about, what Peyton Manning did when he went to Denver, what Tom Brady did when he went to Tampa, and it's all similar. And I think it's not only what you expect, it's like, it's normal. It's like, you want that. You want them to bring a few guys with them that they feel comfortable with. The only problem with the Jets this year, everybody, is that it fell apart, right? So Aaron Rodgers went down after 4 plays. If that didn't happen, then all this stuff doesn't mean anything. And, Saleh, like we said, I mean, he looks lost at times. The defense is great, but he just looks lost. And Hackett is not a very good offensive coordinator without Aaron Rodgers. I mean, and the best way to describe that, the whole thing all in a little basket is, hey, it turns out we got a pretty good running back and he could be used out of that. It's like, dude, like, I can't take it. I just can't take it. That says everything that we saw all year, like the confusion, like 2 guys get hurt on this side and that's the side he's running to. Like, what the fuck is, wait, Ruckert, Uzoma is getting blown up and causing penalties, and it takes 5 weeks to get Ruckert in the game. Like, those types of things. So, I don't know. Like Matt said, it's not good. We don't want to be seeing stuff like this. At the same time, most of it wasn't really all that surprising if you're one of us that have been watching these games all year. It's very very it's just confirming, if anything.